Hey guys, it is Targon here doing a Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I'm continuing with the account takeover theme. I am helping my friend Doctor once again. He reached out and asked for help with getting to Ultra Nightmare level on the clan boss runs. He's been hitting Nightmare for a while. I helped him build his Nightmare team, and it's running pretty well, but he wants to advance. And Ultra Nightmare is a tough one, especially if you don't have specific champions, the man-eaters, the, Helicavs, Rosgard the Tower, the block damage, unkillable champions. Getting an Ultra Nightmare level can be very difficult, but I think we may just have the team to do it. And here you can see this is what he's doing with his Nightmare runs, which is not bad. He's got some really good champions. Ninja, Geomancer, Martyr's great. And we're going to use a bit of this same concept, but I'm changing a few things around and adding in especially one key component because he just picked up Mithrala Lifebane. Guys, I know Hydra is hard and sometimes it's not a whole lot of fun. Especially early on, you don't necessarily have the greatest champions, but find a way to do it. I will try and do some tutorial videos on it soon. Find a way to at least just start getting chests so you can get this champion, especially if you're struggling any area in the game, any area at all, she will help you. Great for all the dungeons, great for like a defensive arena team or an arena team if you're having a hard time getting the speeds right. Having her as a ghost second arena team really is great. Doom Tower, and in this situation, we are going to use her for clan boss. And really, there's a lot that makes her great, but the main skill that we're going to be using today is her A3. This is one of the most overpowered skills, I would say, in the game. Removes all debuffs from all allies, then places 25% strengthen buff and shield buff equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Guys, this is an incredible skill. The 25% strengthen, basically that just means you're taking 25% less total damage, and then her shield is going to protect you from most of the clan boss's damage, at least on that first hit. So we're going to be using this. The other elements in her kit aren't going to come into play a whole heck of a lot. Increased defense is great for clan boss. Increased attack can be good as well. So that will be helpful. The Hex doesn't really do anything on the clan boss, although I think it might increase your damage total slightly. But she's also got some poisons on her A1 there. The passive's not really going to come into play a whole heck of a lot. She's a great champion. I'll do a guide on her later on. So we are going to be using her. The masteries I have now, this is probably not the best way to set up her masteries overall. I would say overall you're probably better off going a support and defense tree and probably grabbing Eagle Eye for extra accuracy, but this is for like really late end game arena, Doom Tower, some of the really difficult stuff at the end where you would want something like that. For clan boss, we're gonna want War Master to get that extra damage, so I went down the offense tree. Probably, once other champions come in that can take her place, like an unkillable or block damage champion, then might be good to switch her out of offense and into the defensive tree. So that is her. Her kit, I just got her in 2 perception sets and an immortal set just to give her a little extra health and healing. Now, ideally, I'd like to get her HP a little bit higher, but just gear-wise, this was kind of the best I could do without taking a really long time getting through gear. Again, for really late game stuff, I'd try to bump up her accuracy more to like 500 at least. But I wanted to focus a bit more on HP, so I put an HP chest on her to get bigger shields, because we are going to need as big a shields as we can get. And probably I'll eventually want to try and sacrifice some of this defense for extra HP as well. So that's Mithrala. She is kind of the key champion that is going to make this all work. We're also going to be using Martyr. And here you can see her stats, 42k HP, 4.3k defense. The speed, so Mithralia's speed was at, what was it, 195. She's going to be going first in this comp. Martyr's going to be going second. Ideally, want to get them all to 100% crit rate, but that'll be fine tuning. This is just, we're trying to get the run to work. And the crit rate's high enough. I think it should be okay. Next, we're going to have Godseeker Aniri. She is an amazing, amazing champion. Ideally, we are going to need probably to get some of these stats a little bit higher on her. Let me see. Does he have a second one of her? No. So we might want to actually look at, depending on how the run goes, it might be worth taking the resistance chest off of her in place of an HP chest, just to give her a little bit more survivability. Masteries, again, we got Defensive Tree, War Master, pretty standard. Next, we're going to be doing Mithrala, and got him in Perception because we want to make sure that he can land his debuffs here. Went with as much HP as I could, and some good defense, because this, again, they're going to be taking damage, so you don't want to just load up your attack champions all on attack. Almost got him to 100% crit rate. Would like to get these crit stats up more, but the big thing, 192 speed. So all these speeds are in order of how they're going to go. And the big thing with him, all we're doing is we're going to use the A1. I'm turning off all the other skills in the presets. Hits 3 times and has a chance of placing poison debuff. And so we are going to get this Giant Slayer mastery because it has a chance of inflicting extra damage on each hit. All right, so we've got him running at 192. And then last but not least, we're going to be running Geomancer. And he's at 190. There you see his stats. Ideally, probably want to get a little more HP and defense on him eventually. But we'll work on that. So let's go in and I'll show you the presets here. So that way we can kind of just to get the concepts going, right? So here is the team and the way it's going to work. Mithrala is going to go first. You're going to probably have to prioritize her A3. I think she automatically does her A2 first. But we want this going up. The reason is we want shield and strengthen on the AoEs. All right, this is going to reduce the amount of damage that we take substantially. So she's going to go first. Next, Martyr's going to come in, and you're going to want to prioritize for her to do her counterattack. She's putting increased defense and counterattack up on everybody. Great. So we've got shield, strengthen, increased defense, counterattack. Those are like the 4 best buffs we can get. Ideally, if we could find a way to add like an ally protect, this would probably really start rocking, but we'll get there. So she's going to put that up, and next, Godseeker Aniri is going to go up, and I have her to prioritize this quest for meaning. So this is going to extend all of those buffs. Each of those buffs is up for 2 turns. This is going to make it 3. All of those buffs are on 3-turn cooldowns. We're going 1-to-1. So everybody goes. Martyr's buffs are up. Mithralia's buffs are up, and then Godseeker is extending all those so they last the entire fight. Obviously, the shields are going to get worn down eventually, so that's kind of where eventually we are going to get beat. But at least we're going to have strengthen and increased defense. So that's really going to limit how much damage we are taking. Godseeker's also got this cool thing where she has this revive on death. So if the clan boss stuns, or not stuns, but like hits somebody and takes them out, then they'll automatically revive. And again, we don't have to worry about the stun because Mithrala is going first, and right after the stun, she's going to be cleansing it. So as long as she is not the stun target, then we are good to go. And then Geomancer is going to be using his A3, which puts the HP burn and weaken, and then he's going to be, this allows him to deflect a bunch of damage. So that's also going to minimize how much damage we are taking. And Mithrala is in here purely to do as much damage as possible. Martyr also has a decreased attack on her skills as well, and a decreased defense, which is awesome. So we're going to have decreased defense, decreased attack, and weaken, and a bunch of poisons going up on the boss. All right, so I have not run this yet. We'll see how it goes. I'm anxious to see what our final numbers are going to be here. So Mithrala goes first, then Martyr, and so there you see now everybody's got these buffs up the whole time. Let's speed it up a little bit. Great. So now we got, and so you see all the War Master procs going off. Let's see, can he get some Giant Slayers? Nah. So right now he is just damaging our shields. And we've got plenty of debuffs on the boss. We're not really going to have to worry. And there you see Mithrala took the stun off of Geomancer. And so really at this point, it's just a question of how long can we go before he starts damaging past the shields. And even once he starts doing that, we have Godseeker and Eerie in to help with keeping our health topped off a little bit. And I did put everybody with the Life Drinker Mastery, which will start replenishing their health once they drop below 50%. Great, so the stun is always going on Geomancer. So you'll want to pay attention. If you're running this exact comp, you'll want to pay attention to the affinity. It may be worth... really, I mean, we have Spirit and we have Force, and so I don't think that they're going to target Mithrala. Really, if Mithrala is getting targeted, there's some things you can do to make it so that she's not as likely to get targeted. But anybody else getting targeted doesn't matter because the stun's going to get cleansed off. Now, if you're doing, you can run this team against Nightmare. It's not going to tune up quite as well. So like the order isn't going to go up. So the stun might not get cleansed before it takes effect. So just keep that in mind if you are running this on Nightmare. But again, if you can make sure that, so for these champions, if you can make sure it's either Nethril or Geomancer taking the stun, neither of them are really critical in terms of surviving. So the main thing is we want the survivability buffs going up, and then Godseeker extending those buffs. So if Mithrala, Martyr, or Godseeker take the stun, that would throw us off. But if the other two take the stun, it's really not gonna affect a whole lot. And there you see Geomancer is taking some damage on the stun, but it's not a ton just yet. So I'm pretty sure at this point we're getting close. I think if we can get to like 17 million, that's a 4 key. I was really hoping to get this to a 3 key. But to get to that, we would need close to like 23 million, which right now might not be able to get there, I don't think. But we're getting close to 1 million damage per turn. which is pretty good. Yeah, so now the hits are starting to go through, especially on the A2, because the A1 takes the shield down, and the A2 kind of gets through what's left. Let's see. The good news is that as the clan boss does more damage, the more damage gets reflected back at him from Geomancer's passive. Yeah, so we're gonna get, let's see. Somebody's gonna get taken out. Okay, Mithrala got taken out. Not the end of the world. And there we go. All right. 22 million damage is actually pretty good. I was hoping to get a little bit more. If we could have gotten an extra like 2 million damage, then we would be in 3 key territory. So this is solid. I think part where this needs improvement is we're going to need to improve the health and defense on Godseeker and the 2 DPS champions for Geo and Mithrala, because both of them are a little bit on the squishy side. I think if we could get this up a little bit more to like 2.5 and get the HP closer to 50,000 on everybody. Godseeker's got the defense, but I think just she does not have enough health. So I think probably the simplest thing to do would be to swap this for, do we have an HP percent chest? There's one. This would probably work once I level that up. What else do we got? I'll look at it later, maybe this one. So there's a couple HP percent chests. As long as they don't add extra speed, those could be used to kind of give her a little bit of extra health. I know resistance is really nice to have on her for other content, but if we're using her for clan boss, having the extra health will help out a lot. Let's see, is there another option? Would be just potentially swap out the defense percent gloves for HP percent gloves. I know she's a defense champion, but we can afford to lose some defense and gain some extra health. I think that's really going to help her last a bit longer into the fight. And Nethril, I think HP, we want to try and bring it up a little bit, but I think like a little bit more defense as well will help out tremendously. The other option is he was using with the crowned, so she could come in as a healer. She's also a great clan boss champion, but I thought it might be better to just try and get as much damage as possible. So I'll play around with it and see, and I'll see, you know, he can kind of play around with it and see, look at different options. But so you get the concept is you're just putting all these buffs on, and then you're extending them so they last you throughout the fight. Helps you go a lot longer. So even though we don't have unkillable or block damage, we were able to get almost like halfway through the 50 rounds that you would get with the block damage and so forth. So not great, but you know, what if you can get a whole bunch of champions with really great gear, I think this concept can work much better, especially if we can find another champion that does either ally protect, or maybe that throws an additional shield on. Like a potential option would be to bring in someone like Ultimate Death Knight, who can kind of reapply a shield. I don't really see any other champions that he has that do anything like much bigger. Problem with bringing Ultimate Death Knight is then we would have to replace one of the DPS champions, which would be kind of you can play around with it and see. I'm not sure if it would really help. It would help you last longer into the fight, but it would reduce the amount of damage you're doing. So it probably in the trade-off wouldn't necessarily add a whole heck of a lot. All right, but so that's the team. Let me know what you guys think, and if anyone wants some help building a clan boss team, let me know. Especially if you don't have some of those big name clan boss champions, and you're like, how do I hit Ultimate Nightmare? This is how. This is how you just find a way to get all your buffs and just get it through the fight, last as long as you can. Find a few champions that can do some good damage, and just keep going with it at that. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.